Hello, today's video will be a bit different. Today I'm going to talk about being unemployed and searching for a new job. So I plan to create this video in a way where it's easy or a step-by-step guide on what to do if you're unemployed or if you plan to search for a new job. So this is based on my experience, and I created this video is also for myself in the future where I will need to reference on what to do if I would like to change a job, or if I end up in a similar situation again where I have to leave and not have a job in hand. A little bit of context, for me, I joined a company for 8 months-ish, so less than a year after graduation. So I was a fresh grad with 8 months of full-time work experience. Prior to that, I also do a bit of part-time job, which is also related to my degree, accountancy, so part-time accounts. And yeah, so I have a bit of experience prior to this full-time job. So after 8 months into this full-time job, I decided that this company is not something that it's not a very good fit for me, and it's also something that is really affected my well-being, and I decided to leave the job without securing another job in hand. So I submitted my resignation letter and I had no job in hand, which led me to unemployed for 2 to 3 months before getting an offer from another job. So I would like to share during these 2 to 3 months of experience on what I did and what I could have done better, and so you don't make the same mistakes as me. Okay. I'm also going to try to keep it very concise and very to the point, so the video doesn't get too draggy. So I have a note here, and also my laptop is here. I have some stuff which I would like to point out on. I don't have a script to follow, so everything will be just in the back of my mind, and everything is still very fresh on me. That's why I'm creating this video. So if you plan to search for another job, and if your current job is still manageable for you, I would obviously encourage you to search for another job before leaving your current job. So I will encourage you to secure another job before leaving this current job you're in. If this current job you're in is way too toxic, it's affecting your well-being, and you felt like maybe within this current job you have no time, no energy, and no capability to search for another job, and then maybe you felt that it was the right decision to leave before securing another job, which is completely fine. I did that, and if that happens to be you, these are the steps I would take. But if you could stay in the company, you can also do these steps to help you to give you a better chance of securing a better job before you leave your company. After you leave your toxic job without securing another job, the first thing I want you to do is to submit a resignation letter, and then you have about a 1 or 2 months notice period. This 1 or 2 months notice period, I want you to focus on yourself also. So the first point I came up with was to set up your LinkedIn open to work for recruiters view only. So in LinkedIn there's a function where you can put the open to work symbol, so recruiters with a premium account will reach out to you. I did that, and I have about 2 to 3 recruiters reaching out to me, and they would show me a few job offers. Eventually I felt that it's not something I want to do, so I didn't pursue with them, but I could see this as a good opportunity for those headhunters to reach out to you to secure another job. Okay, the second thing I would like to do is to set up an Excel. So I have an Excel here. In this Excel, you would have a column of date of application applied, companies I applied to, and status. So the status could be rejected, pending, or whatever, interview. Okay, so with this Excel, it's I think a good visualization for you to see how many jobs you have applied and to keep the momentum going of applying for jobs, and also a very good visual thing for you to see how far you have progressed. And I personally like to keep this Excel to track my progress on the jobs I've applied and to not reapply for the same job. The next thing I would like to do is for you to set a target that is reasonable for you. To me, applying for 5 to 10 jobs, 5 to 15 jobs every day is a good target. So you would set up a time and a place every day to apply for a job. So for me, during the 1 month of notice period, at night I will apply for jobs. So I'll spend 1 hour to apply for about 5 to 10 jobs. Now, where can you apply for jobs? You can apply in JobStreet, LinkedIn, Careers@Gov, My Careers Future. So these 4, and then you just apply to whatever you're studying or whatever you're interested in. Personally, Careers@Gov if you're interested in a civil career or public sector or a career in the civil service, you could filter by closing date. So what I will do is filter by closing date and then apply to those that are closing, such that the application will be faster. Because in Careers.gov, it tends to be HR processing will tend to be very slow. So I usually like to apply jobs that are closing soon, so I don't have to wait very long. Cause if I apply to jobs that are closing 2 months later, then after 2 months of my application, then it will start to get processed. So this is a tip, which is to sort by closing date. Okay, and then remember, after you apply for any job, you type it in your Excel that you created. Okay, I think also prior to that, right, for those who have access to Career Coach, I know SMU has a lifetime Career Coach as well as a few local uni. So what I actually did was, during my 1 month notice period, I actually went to meet my Career Coach. So during lunch break, I went to set up a meeting with my Career Coach, and this meeting is crucial for me to talk to my Career Coach on how do I update my resume and my career plan ahead. So he's actually very useful for me. He helped to give me tips on how to better my resume, such that it can capture the AI system or capture the company keywords that they're looking for. So I would advise to go and find a Career Coach, go and search whether your uni provides you lifetime Career Coach. If not, I think the government also has their own like career professional service for free, if I'm not wrong. I'll have to search it up later and then put it here. Now that your resume is in check, now that you open LinkedIn to open to work, and now that you have been applying for 5 to 10 years, now that you have been applying to 5 to 10 jobs every day, I think your notice period would somewhat be ending now. So when your notice period ended, I want you to do a bit of inventory. Has any companies get back to you? I want you to also everyday search your email and everyday clear your email and to read through your mailbox, your junk mail, all this, to see if there's any updates from companies. So I know that the job market is actually very bad now. I mean, it has been very bad for the past few months. So in the event that when your notice period ends and during the period you have been applying for 1 to 2 months and you don't hear back for any interviews, maybe you can consider applying for jobs that is outside of your job scope. So for example, for me, I'm a fresh grad, right? So I also expand my job application to apply for jobs that don't need a specific degree. So it could be like I know Careers.gov, there are a few jobs that just say degree in any discipline, so I just apply for that, and I got called back for a few, which is good. And if you're not a fresh grad, maybe you can also apply to other roles that is further from your job scope, in hopes that you get a job interview back. The reason why I say this is that it's not very important whether you like the job yet or not yet. I feel that you should, during this period, keep going for interviews to get the feel of what is it like being interviewed, preparing for interview, and get the momentum going. I feel like a lot of the times, if we have not been applying for jobs and have not been going for interviews regularly, we will forget how to speak to people, how to present ourselves well. So even if the job may not be something that you like, I think you should still apply for it, go for the interview, then later when they give you the offer, you can choose to reject or accept. Yeah, so that's my 2 cents, which is to still apply for the job that you could qualify for and that may not be a peak interest, but I just want you to go for the interview and to experience what is it like being interviewed, and to experience how to prepare for interview, and to learn from how you can better do interview next time. So this will give you higher chances of having more offers, higher chances of companies coming back to you with offers. Okay, so that's the point, to apply for any that you qualify for and to reach your target of applying for 10 jobs every day and to keep a record of it. Also to check your mailbox, your email every day, and to open your LinkedIn messages to see if anybody got back to you. During this period, I also always keep my handphone on ringer mode, such that if I receive any calls or anything, I will immediately call back. And because some recruiters will call you by the mobile phone, so you want to be alert to pick up calls as well. Okay, so now I think that these are a few tips I have for you to secure an interview. Now that this segment is over, I'm going to go on to how to prepare for interviews and how to go for interviews. So now that you have a couple of interviews in hand, here are a few tips that I have. One is to dress well. So if you have a physical interview, all the more you should dress appropriately. If you have an online interview, if you have a blazer, wear a blazer. Just make sure you are just more overdressed or more presentable. I think it gives a very good impression if you are prepared for it. Okay, that is clothing. The second is I would also practice talking to myself, talking in front of the mirror to see what I look like, what I sound like, and also to prepare basic interview questions. Okay, so some of the questions that I came up with, I would type in an Excel on what I want to say to the interview. So some questions maybe could be like, why did you leave your previous company? So for me, I'm just gonna say what I replied, okay? So for me, I said something along the lines of, I did not enjoy the working environment. I felt like the long hours. For a bit of context, I came from the Big Four. So it was easy for me to say that, the long hours is starting to take a toll on my well-being. And with the advice from friends and family, I decided that it was the best decision to leave the company and find a job that is more aligned with me and more suitable with me. And then I guess I'm looking for a job with better working conditions. Yeah. I also said that I decided to leave without having a secure job in hand because my current job inhibited me from taking time to apply for jobs, attending interviews because of the crazy workload and crazy work hours I had to commit myself to. So eventually, I think it makes the most sense for me to leave and then slowly find a job. So that was along the lines of what I said. So I think other stuff that you could say was maybe the job had lack of guidance, there was lack of mentorship, and you felt like it was inhibiting your growth, and you want to join a company with better guidance to help you grow better, they are more aligned with you. Other stuff could be maybe this job industry is not your interest, you have other interests, then maybe you can elaborate more on why you have other interests. Maybe you have hobbies to back up your other interests. For example, you don't like accounting, you like marketing, and then your hobbies are also marketing. Maybe you can do your own social media or stuff like that. You could say something like that, which is your hobbies. And then other stuff is company restructuring. Maybe the company is undergoing a lot of restructuring works and you felt that it wasn't a good environment for you to grow anymore, and the best option was to leave and find something that's more aligned. So then another question I prepared to answer was, so what did you do in your previous company? So I would say, like, in my previous company, I was in an audit firm, so I did a lot of audit testing, like testing for accounts with higher risk of fraud or misstatement. For example, management expense could be understated, which is an account that is higher risk identified by our professional judgment. So the job scope would be me selecting samples, obtaining supporting documents such as invoices and receipts to check that what was recorded was true and fair to what actually happened. And then if there are instances where the amount cannot reconciliate or the amount does not match, we will investigate further, obtain more documents, and write an audit report. Yeah. Then they will ask me, another question I prepared for was, so what have you learned in your previous company that you could bring to my company now? I said that I learned a lot during my time in the previous company. I made a lot of friends, and although it was not the most enjoyable time, I did not regret my decision to join the firm because I felt that I learned a lot, which is also true because really the firm teach me a lot and I learned a lot about myself. Okay, so I think what I mentioned was that I learned to manage upwards and downwards. I learned to communicate and manage my manager's expectations, my clients' expectations. So for my managers wise, I always report on my work and be a responsible team member. I mean, I learned it along the ways on how to report my work better and how to be a better team member. And then I also had to learn to manage relationships with my client, to build rapport with them and to communicate effectively with them on what documents I need from them throughout my whole audit engagement. So I met a lot of managers there, a lot of friends there, a lot of clients there, and I also truly got to learn about a lot of social skills, to talk to people to get things done. So yeah, and then I also had to learn to work with all kinds of people to get my work done. So I guess something that I can learn and take away from is to be able to work with all kinds of people and to be a good team member. Yeah, so that's what I said. Okay, then comes another question I prepared for was, what are your future goals and future aspirations? I think I somewhat say along the lines of I would ideally hope to finish my Chartered Accountant qualification, which is the Singapore Chartered Accountant qualification. And then I said that I would like to be a better leader, to learn the realms well, to lead a team. Yeah. I said that eventually, you know, I would like to rise upwards and be a team leader more than a team member. And yeah, I also said that, you know, in today's digital age of AI and technology, we need people who are better team leaders instead of doers. We need people who can lead and execute well, projects well. So I said one of my goals is to build on these social skills, to be able to work with a team and lead a team effectively. So these are my future goals, which I aim to learn and improve myself on. Okay, and then another question I prepared for was, what is an important skill set you think you should have? So I said that I felt like soft skills and being able to build relationship with people is an important skill that I should have. Once again, okay, so yeah, an important skill set I believe that anybody should have is to have the soft skills to be able to build relationships with people. It's very important. I think that it can bring you very far if you know how to express yourself properly and to build rapport with people, to have empathy for others, and always seeking to understand one another. That way that you can work better in a team to do the project better. Again, like I mentioned, I said AI and technology is becoming more prevalent. It is more important that we have the social skills and the soft skills to work with people than to have the hard skills. I mean, the hard skills is important, but a lot of times the AI and technology could help you to easily harness these hard skills. You could rely on AI and technology in the near future. But ultimately, I feel that AI still cannot replace the ability to talk to people, to talk to clients, and to manage clients, and to work with people. I think important skill is to have presentation skills, management skills, and communication skills. Yeah. So I also said that a lot of the times we don't work in isolation. We need to work across departments, cross agencies, and to work within our team. So it's crucial to know how to work with people and how to step up and be a good leader so that the work can be done better. So that's an important skill set to say. So I somewhat mentioned along the lines of this. I'm just reading off the screen now because I really can't remember. But for you guys, I think you all should go and memorize or practice talking in front of the mirror so that you can sound more eloquent and just, yeah. I think also a lot of the times that we need to go in with an open mind. So go in just to talk to the interviewers, don't have too much pressure on ourselves to perform. Just to talk, just to really say what you feel. Yeah, I think don't need to set up a performance for them, but being human and being real is also important. You don't want them to you don't want to also over praise yourself or over inflate what you can do. It's good to give a realistic picture of what you are so that they can assess whether you are suitable for the job. And I think it's a good thing if they reject you. Also, maybe because they feel that you cannot step up to the job, which is ultimately a good thing, because then you will have a hard time in the job, you know, if they felt that you cannot do the job well, or have the qualifications to do the work well, or the experience. So I always say don't be disheartened with rejection, because it's ultimately what you learn from the rejection. Like for me, I also got rejected a lot of times throughout my whole job application and job interview. So it's about what can I learn from this and how can I do better. Yeah. Yeah. Okay, then I think another couple of jobs is that why would you choose to work in our company? So I think mostly I applied for like careers at Gov, so it was a civil service job. So I talked about how that in the public sector or in the civil service, there's a lot of employee retention and employee upskilling, which is something that I like because I feel that I want to join a company that will invest in its employees. So this is something that I enjoy about being part of the public sector. I also said that the work I do there is very meaningful, and with this intrinsic motivation, it would make work more enjoyable for me, and I would definitely enjoy coming to work more if the purpose is to benefit society. Yeah. And then I also said that, you know, this role that I'm applying for, it will allow me to build practical experience such as understanding financial operations, month-end closing, reconciliation and reporting, which are important skills in finance, and it's something that I want to be better at. I feel that whatever I learned in School of Accountancy in SMU is just very superficial level. I think the real work comes from actually being in a job and understanding how the operations work. That's when you can really grasp a lot of financial knowledge and make meaning to what I study. So this is why I'm interested in this role of financial operations. Okay, I think these are all the stuff that I said that I prepared for, and maybe you could take inspiration from my answers to prepare for yours. With that being said, I also want to caution that you should have a proper structure in place during your unemployment days. Maybe wake up 10 a.m, 9 a.m, have your breakfast, apply for jobs. That's it. I think that maybe max 2 hours on applying for jobs is enough. I want consistency instead of just one shot apply 5 hours. So I want you to have the I don't want you to like feel very drained after 5 hours of application. I rather you do bit by bit every day. So after breakfast, do your job search, close your laptop, go out for lunch, go out for a walk, go to the gym, cook your own lunch, eat healthy, and then spend time with friends, spend time with family, do your skincare, have a nice shower, pack your house, clean your table, you know, go try out new restaurants, new cafes in Singapore. Yeah, so you will have a lot of free time and you will feel not used to it. So I want you to like slowly get used to it and also give some structure to your day. And I think that it's very easy to be discouraged during your unemployment, and I just want to tell you that it is not a matter of whether you find a job, it is a matter of when you find a job. So I want you to take this period of unemployment to better yourself. So for me it would be journaling. So I would journal every day about my thoughts, whether I feel sad, whether I feel happy, and what are my plans tomorrow, and whether today I am happy with what I did, whether I exercise, whether I eat healthy, whether I do my job search. So journaling was very important throughout this unemployment. I really kept myself accountable to the habits that I want to develop. Yeah. So I hope you take this period of unemployment not to feel sad, but to use it as a period to improve yourself, to better yourself, and see the positive. And yeah, and also another tip is that if maybe you are running low on money, you don't have a lot of savings in hand, and you really need to start earning money, you could consider going for part-time jobs while doing your job search. But if you have enough savings, I would ideally recommend you to stay at home and to focus on your job search and to do stuff that you feel good, exercising, better yourself. Yeah. I think that's all that I want to say. I also want to encourage everybody. I know it's a period of very hard time, especially with how the economy is going. And I also know that the interviews will not be easy. There will be nasty interviewers, nasty managers, and I hope you don't be discouraged. I hope that you always take it as an opportunity to learn and to do better for your next interview. And I wish you all the best, and I know that you will find a job. Yeah, so I hope you take this time and spend it well. Okay, I think that's all that I want to say in this video. I hope you find this useful. Yes, I will see you in my next video. Bye bye.